Well, since we started there yesterday, what are the statuses of Eric Goodbranson and Justin Danforth for tonight?
They're good to go. They're good to go. Chinakhov is good to go. And before you ask, Elvis will be in the net.
What about who comes out with Justin Danforth playing?
Olivier.
And Provi good.
Provi's good, yep.
Given the upheaval here with the organization, is this road trip almost good for you guys to get out on the road, pull together dinners, all that kind of stuff, in this situation in particular?
Yeah, possibly. Those decisions, I know they're not being taken lightly. It takes some time, but hockey players, they know the business. We grew up in, we deal with today. Yesterday happened, and we move on. And that's how the business works. When somebody gets fired, either it's a general manager or a coach or an assistant coach, whoever it is, a guy gets traded, okay, and then they move on. And but you don't forget what the man has done for you. But being on the road, maybe, possibly it helps. Being together, that's possible.
You also see a spark sometimes, teams that respond. Do you expect that from this type of situation?
I don't believe that outside influences will spark a team. It's got to come from within, like our way of playing, our process, our way of dealing and preparing for each and every single games. So we've been trending up as far as how we've played the game, and I just want to see the consistency of our growth. So I know in the past it's been used, like using moments like this to try to motivate the team. I think motivation has to come from a different perspective. Let's put it this way. It's having a man being let go and using that as a motivation, to me, is just not right.
With the spot that you guys are in, as far as the rebuild process, the building up process,
Yep.
You probably shouldn't ever have a trap game, right? What I mean by that is when you play a team and you kind of overlook them or whatever, and the Sharks obviously have overall a worse record than you guys. I think they're 5-3-2 in the last 10, though. Is there any concern there at all that you're starting this road trip and that you may look across the way or these guys may look across the way and say, hey, that team is maybe
Might be an easier game.
Yeah.
That's human nature, but we're going to try to stay away from that. That's human nature, but we're in no position to think it's going to be easy. There's no easy games in the NHL, and we've watched a pre-scout and how they've played recently, and it's a hard-working team. They went to Calgary and they played a hard game and they won that game. So, we're in no position whatsoever to think it's going to be an easier game. And sometimes that's human nature. I understand it, but the approach will certainly we're going to make sure we stay away from that mindset.
When you were talking about the Russian line yesterday, are they staying together to start today?
Yes.
Yeah. You were mentioning how they got a little too east-west, I guess. Is that what
Yes.
it seemed like?
Yes.
Is it easier, or is it easy for guys with their kind of skill sets to fall into that instead of playing north-south?
There's a place to use those east-west plays, and you have to have it. It's you want the puck, you want to keep the puck, and sometimes that's your only option. But when you start forcing it, that was the problem. We tried to play a game that is slowing us down, and if it works, it's not going to work for a long period of time just because the way the game is being played in the NHL, maybe in other leagues, maybe in Europe, I'm not sure, but I know for a fact that it's not going to work here. But there's a time and place. Sometimes you have to make those east-west plays so you keep puck control, but moving, playing north-south is what we promote, and that's how we want to play. And that's what they were doing early on together. And because of their skills, they were able to make some east-west plays, but be productive. But not only they were slowing down at the time, the numbers were showing on top of it that they were not productive, either offensively or defensively. So, but learning curve, all three young guys. We're going to put them back together, give them a chance. I believe they can work really well together. Chemistry is there. They communicate all the time. So I think there's potential there to see a line that can be effective in a long period of time. But we have to play a style of play that will be successful in the NHL, not in other leagues.
Are they an interesting combo just because Marchenko and especially Marchenko and Chinakhov are good finishers? Like, you know what I mean? So maybe they're not playing the best game, but they get one chance and they bury it. You know what I mean? So you get a goal out of it, even if they're not playing their best.
Yeah, their style of play and their skill sets are more towards the offensive side of it and creating and shooting the puck. Voronkov has a two-way mindset that he's supporting the puck. He's doesn't make many mistakes. So yeah, that's and you got size on that line. You got a guy that can fly in Chinakhov. Voronkov can protect the puck. He goes to the net, so they know, those two shooters know that there's always somebody at the net. He's creating that. He's creating a way for the other guys to shoot the puck. And you know, Gretzky's office was behind the net.
Right.
Voronkov, office is in
Right
front
in
of
front
it.
of the net, huh?
And we love that.
Yeah.
You've talked this season about special teams being so much about momentum, building momentum. San Jose has been perfect on the PK, I think, in their last 6 games. You said yesterday that you want to change some things up on the power play to get it going. So what do you want to see from your power play, assuming you guys get some chances in this game against a unit that's playing well?
Some things are consistent on the power play that you need to have, regardless of who you're playing against. One of it is certainly moving the puck quick, and we call it puck speed. When we face some issues, it's because we're trying to slow down. The PK will try to recover, and all PKs will try to protect the middle of the ice, trying to stay away from those seam passes. Some teams will be more aggressive, and then it's even more important that we have that puck speed to make the other team skate and create those opportunities. So what we're trying to create is find the right players in the right position and go from there. But puck speed is number one, and then from there attacking the net. Now the other thing is when you attack the net, you need to be in a position to keep the puck in zone, in the offensive zone. If they retrieve that puck and it goes 200 feet, that's average 22 seconds on their power play. Now, take 22 seconds out of 2 minutes, you're spending a lot of time not in a position to score. So the setup that we have right now, we're trying to create more plays. And the other thing I would say, I could talk about this for quite some time, but different ways to attack: low attacks, high attacks, middle attacks. We're consistent at finding the seam and the high plays. And we have to work on getting more attacks from the goal line. So we want to be unpredictable for the other team, but predictable for us. And I feel sometimes we're a little bit too predictable for the other team.
What with Voronkov, his improvement on face-offs? What have you guys done there?
That's all coaching.
Studying the game.
No. He's so strong. Early on, he was getting kicked out quite a bit because it was one of his foot that was in the way. He's watching a lot of videos. He's learning on his own, but we also have Jason Krog that is helping with our centers. But for him, I think it's more the adjustment. He's a smart guy, so he studies what the other guys are doing, but he's using what he's good at, is his strength. To win face-off, so he's owning the dot. We call it, we own the dot. We want to own the dot, and he's doing a good job at that.